Look who makes a return. That's right, on the cover, my man, finally back, Starscream. And I think many of you are gonna love this issue because we get a little bit of an origin story, but I just want you to check out that cover just a little bit longer. All right, let's get into it. Transformers number 13. We go back in time a few issues where Soundwave beats up Starscream and takes leadership of the Decepticons. We get that famous line, "You kicked my Ravage. The only part left is extermination." And he says, "Goodbye, Starscream," and pushes him down a cliff where there's lava. Starscream is barely alive. He's just hanging on. And he says, "Starscream, that's my name." And then we get this interesting name. It says Ulstar. I believe I said that correctly. Ulstar, come on. Now, I got to pause it right there for a second. From what I remember, and please correct me in the comments section if I'm wrong. First of all, if I'm saying the name incorrectly. Ulstar was the original name of Starscream by Hasbro, and it was later changed by an executive decision. But because that story was out from Hasbro, they used that name to put together Starscream lore. And you're going to get a little bit of it here in the Skybound comic. We go back in time where Starscream is just a simple scientist. And there's his friend. We've got Ulstar. It's going to be weird because I'm going to try not to call him Starscream. I'm going to call him by his original name, Ulstar. And then his friend, Genvo. We also see Jetfire, and that is common knowledge that Starscream and Jetfire used to be scientists years ago on Cybertron. They used to be good friends, but they parted ways. One went to the Autobots, one went to the Decepticons, and they're just finishing up work. Here they are just sitting somewhere, like enjoying the stars, talking about their work, and talking about the war that's happening on Cybertron. Starscream's friend looks like he's gonna smash one of these little bugs. And you see Starscream like, "No, man, they're beautiful. They can help. Everything has life." What a different Starscream. You know, sparing lives, looking at the beauty and everything. And when they look up, they're like, "Oh my gosh, look what's coming. Look what's flying by." And it's Omega Supreme. I believe that's Omega Supreme. It looks like the toy. And I bet in the book has a beautiful layout of Omega Supreme. And you see Starscream and his friends, Jetfire, looking up, and they're like, "Had no idea they were so big," you know? And Starscream had this like vision. He's like, I'm gonna do something. Everybody come this way. Let's go. So they like break into the facility that they work for. That looks like Cup, by the way, but I don't think that's Cup. And Starscream's like, "I'm gonna do something here." And he goes, "I want them to see us. I want these people to see me." It is important for Starscream. He's like, "I want to be seen, you know? I want people to know that I exist." So he does something to his work that triggers like a little explosion. And he goes, "Quick, everybody wave at them." And so they're waving at them. And Omega Supreme looks down and acknowledges them that they are there. And it was such a cool moment for the guys, you know? And in comes security. He's like, "Hey kids, you need to run." And they run away. And they're just talking about like how awesome that was. And then Jetfire lets them know. He goes, "Hey man, I gotta go. There's some things that I want to accomplish. And I don't know when I'm going to come back, when I'm going to see you guys." And look, they embrace each other with a hug. And Starscream's like, "Man, I'm going to miss him." And off we go. Excuse me, not Starscream, Ultra. Oh my gosh, it's going to be one of those. His friend goes, "Don't worry. You'll still have me around." And All-Star's like, "I am so grateful to have friends like you." Then a massive explosion happens. And you could see, I'm just going to call him Starscream. I'm sorry, because I'm going to keep messing this up. Starscream is looking for his friend. He's like, "Genvo, where are you?" And another explosion happens. His friend yells for him. He goes, "Man, we got to get out of here. We've got to move." And Starscream's like, my work. He's like, no, it's too late for that. We gotta go. The war has come here. We've got to make a run for it. He goes, they came out of nowhere, and boom! Genvo is shot. He's grabbed by his friend, and it looks like he's about to die. And he looks up at him and he says, you did it, All-Star. You did it. You yelled at the gods. You screamed the stars into seeing us. And his friend dies. All-Star / Starscream looks up and he sees none other than Optimus Prime. And shout out, we get a little Bumblebee appearance as well. And then we get back to present day where Starscream, he's screams out his friend's name and he sees that his legs have been melted off and he's crying out for his friend and he kind of passes out. And then, listen, I think this is Cobra, but I'm not sure. You got to let me know. I haven't kept up with the Cobra series or G.I. Joe series. I know it's all connected. And I've got to get those comics on the channel as well. So much time, you know, I got to get everything together. But they found Starscream. They hook him up and they're talking about this is a game changer. I can't believe we found him. And they're just having a conversation about, yeah, my dad, you know, he was an American hero. And they're going back and forth and they haul up Starscream and he's too heavy for their crane and he falls over. Now, this guy's screaming. He goes, man, my father was a legend, celebrated, remembered, even worshipped. And he goes, what do I get? Command of this piece of crap. And he's like, it's all going to change. Everything's going to change. So he's got something in mind that he wants to do. I'm not quite sure. We then go back to the past with Starscream and his friend. And while he's walking along, his friend dies. He trips over. And he sees the Autobot signal. And he's like, what am I going to do? And in comes Megatron. Megatron says, you can join us. You can avenge your friend and your clan. You can be a warrior on the new Decepticon order. Megatron came in at the right time. Also, haven't seen much of Megatron yet. I do know that Cobra from G.I. Joe has him trapped, and that's where he's been this whole time. Megatron looks into his eyes, tosses him a gun, and he asks him what his name is. He says, my name is Starscream. And you can see that look, and this is the journey. Starscream goes into madness. That's why he's violent. He just wants revenge. Everything has changed for him. We went from a scientist being friends with Jetfire, having a best friend, just wanting to be seen, to thinking that it was Optimus Prime and Bumblebee that killed his best friend. And now he's becoming a warrior. Changed his name, you know, because of the last words of what his friend said. And I love it, man. I love it. And that is the end. Kind of a shorter issue, but we get the backstory. And now Starscream is technically back in the series, and I can't wait to see what goes on in the next issue. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We're gonna start. We gotta get popping these out, man, because I can't wait to get into the next one. This is Jay. We'll catch you next time.